if violence becomes campaign background noise, the society has lost a critical moral compass.
On April 25th local time, a few gunshots rang out at the White House Correspondents Association dinner held at Washington Hilton Hotel. And once again, America's glaring problem of political violence was pushed into the spotlight. Since July 2024, this has already been the third shooting incident, officially acknowledged by U.S. authorities. The first two were the Butler rally in July 2024 and the Florida Golf Club in September 2024. The outside world is no longer shocked by the frequent shootings in the U.S., but is it normal for a sitting president to face assassination attempts this often in such a short period of time? No, of course it's not normal.
What this frequency reveals is that political violence is no longer an isolated tragedy in America. It has become a structural feature of an extremely polarized society. So the Secret Service, despite being the world's most elite protective agency, is being stretched to its operational limits. So when assassination attempts shift from shocking abnormalities to recurring events, the psychological and institutional fabric of democracy begins to fray.
Afterward, Trump appeared calm at the White House press conference, trying to unite everyone, which was a stark contrast to the way he angrily called for a fight back after the Butler rally in 2024.
Well, I think the contrast is striking, but it's strategic calculation rather than personal transformation. So during the campaign, he needed to project raw defiance to energize a base that thrives on confrontation. Now, as an incumbent seeking broader legitimacy, appearing calm and statement-like helps him appeal to moderate voters exhausted by chaos. This is a problem shift. This is a poster shift, not a character change. However, there is a darker democratic pathology beneath the surface. So when assassination attempts multiply, the public and even the target risks becoming desensitized. So a healthy democracy should never reach a point where its leaders are expected to be used to being shot. So the real issue is not Trump's personal psychology, but whether American politics has become so polarized that such events no longer shock the system into reflection and reform. If violence becomes campaign background noise, the society has lost a critical moral compass.
The frequent assassination attempts are deeply eroding America's global credibility. The U.S. has long portrayed itself as a beacon of democracy, yet it can't even guarantee the personal safety of its highest political leader.
The gap between rhetoric and reality is widening, and allies and adversaries alike are taking notes. So where does this lead? Not to sudden collapse, but to a steady erosion of soft power. So when foreign publics see American leaders under, say, physical threat on home soil, American lectures on democratic security and the rule of law become less convincing. So moral authority, once lost, is far harder to rebuild than military capacity. So in the long run, this credibility gap may prove more damaging than any single assassination attempt, because it undermines the very narrative that justifies American global leadership. The beacon dims not from one blow, but from the accumulation of visible cracks.
We have another concern. The U.S. is going to host the G20 summit this year. Can it guarantee the safety of all visiting leaders during the summit? To be fair, no country can provide absolute security for any major event. Risk always exists.
The bigger issue is symbolic. That the world's leading democracy finds itself forced to militarize its capital simply to ensure visiting leaders are safe from its own citizens. So that is not a display of strength. That is a symptom of profound internal fracture. The G20 will probably proceed without violence, but the image of a fortress Washington sends a louder message about American instability than any diplomatic communique could correct.